Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video. We got some news a couple of hours ago that I just feel like I need to discuss here because it's extraordinarily frustrating and it concerns one of my favorite video game franchises of all time, Knights of the Old Republic. And specifically a re-release done by Aspyr, which is the company who has managed KOTOR's re-releases and was also supposed to be handling the remake, which we'll talk about that later on as well. You may already be somewhat familiar with this situation if you follow my clips channel. I covered it a few months ago, but with the developments today, I thought it was important that I use my main platform to kind of drum up some attention. First though, a bit of context, and let's go to the very beginning. Knights of the Republic 2 is a great game, but it's fundamentally broken in a few ways. For one, the game as released had a ton of content which just didn't make it. This is usually attributed to KOTOR 2's rushed development. There are complete storylines which are cut out, sections which are missing, and perhaps most egregiously, just a load of bugs which can seriously affect playthroughs. Enter the Sith Lords restored content modification, or the restored content mod as most people know it. The mod is one of the most impressive that I've ever seen of its type. It was a completely volunteer, fan-run effort to fix KOTOR 2. It restores, as the name would suggest, content which was nearly completed but ultimately cut from the final game, and also fixes many of the game's bugs. Bugs which often halted progression in certain areas, blocked off content, killed playthroughs. You get the idea. The goal of the mod was not to supplant what was there with the modder's vision, but rather, and this is in their words, to make the experience as close as possible as to what Obsidian originally intended. And if you look at the change list, a lot of what you see simply bug fixes, but yeah, also completely new sections. You get the idea. The KOTOR 2 restored content mod is one of the few that I can think of which is pretty much universally seen as a must included for a KOTOR 2 playthrough. Like most games have purists, stick with the original version. Not really the case with KOTOR 2. It's completely rushed. This mod just does a phenomenal job of making it better without any real downsides. The mod is so good that Aspyr, the company which is now managing releases of KOTOR and KOTOR 2, has fully embraced the mod. KOTOR 2 has actually gotten a few game updates and they've worked with Aspyr to ensure compatibility, and Aspyr themselves have recognized that the mod is pretty much an essential part of KOTOR 2 and a crucial feature upon launch, and they backed up those words when it came to releasing the game for the Nintendo Switch. When advertising the game, one of their big reveals was that the Sith Lords restored content DLC would be coming to the game eventually and for free. It's right there in the trailer. The DLC is coming. They had a Q&A on their website saying that the restored content, again, will be free in the Nintendo eShop and will not only fix bugs, but include, and I quote, additional missions, dialogue options, encounters, and more. The shady thing is, this wasn't available at purchase, but if you look at the trailer, you'll see that people were freaking out, very excited to play the game on their Switch. And I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that praise for the restored content DLC was really taking over the comments. If you look on the clip that I did, it was about 5 months ago, it pretty much echoes that with people saying, yeah, I bought the game, but I'm waiting for the DLC. Right now, there's a lot of crashes. Hopefully it gets fixed. I really like this comment. Restored content and the new never before seen content they were promising is basically the only reason I bought the Switch version. At this point, I'm glad Aspyr lost the KOTOR remake project because this shows how poor their integrity and quality would have been. It should be noted that at the time of recording, there was no official news. They had just missed their Q3 2020 projected release date. The news today from Aspyr came in form of a tweet called Update on the Restored Content DLC, which of course they put out at 9 p.m. on a Friday. They say, we'd like to thank the KOTOR community for their immense passion and support for Star Wars Knights of the Republic. This passion allowed us to bring the timeless series to Nintendo Switch. Sadly, today we are announcing that the restored content DLC for the Nintendo Switch versions of KOTOR 2 will not be moving forward for release. And they thank everyone and offer a complimentary key. Don't worry, we'll get to that in a second. But what? Aspyr got the golden key here. For one, they're basically re-releasing this timeless series, making an absolute assload of money on it. And I gotta say, most of the releases have been pretty good. I actually played through KOTOR 1 on my phone. It was pretty fun. But they also got this amazing fan work and they used it to market their game. This hardcore volunteer fan passion project. They took it, they used it to sell their game. You know what? I think that's okay. But now they haven't delivered. It's simply not acceptable. If they couldn't get it done, don't advertise it. Somebody else has done all the work for you. If it's not going to work on Nintendo, it's not going to work for whatever, simply don't advertise it. And offering another game, it's just not good enough. For one, these games all go on sale. You can pick them up for $1 or $2 usually on certain platforms. People spent their money rebuying KOTOR 2 because they thought they were getting a unique experience, i.e. KOTOR 2 on a handheld system. Give them a refund. That's genuinely the only option here. People bought the game because they thought they'd be able to play it and the restored content mod on the go. Now they can't. You use the restored content mod to advertise it. Now you're not delivering. Offer a refund. I just want to read a few comments from their Twitter post because they are rightfully getting torn up. Surely whatever time or cost investment in bringing the DLC to Switch is not more than the critical hit you just took on brand image and trust. This is so disappointing for Switch console players. You as a company hyped the TSL RCM mod up to be released as a download edition. Maybe you should give a refund for those who want it. And I think my favorite, KOTOR 2 was released unfinished in 2004. It wasn't acceptable then and it isn't now. Without the restored content, you're basically releasing an unfinished game with a broken promise to fix it. How is this any different to brand new games doing the same thing? I think it's different because not only were they promising to fix it, but there was a clear avenue which has fixed it in the past that they simply didn't do. And I mean, all of that's ignoring the fact that you've got to go through Aspyr's most likely dog shit support system and you have to have your proof of purchase. I already didn't know whether Aspyr was up to the task of the KOTOR remake. I see them as mostly port guys, at least when it comes to Star Wars. The game may not even come out, let's be honest. According to Jason Schreier, it's in a completely awful place. There may not even be active development right now. And I just wonder, how have they not managed this? Like how can a KOTOR remake not get made? It's one of the most beloved RPGs in history, plus the fact that anything with Star Wars on it, especially a video game, is going to sell boatloads. The fact that these clowns can't get it out and can't manage to friggin' release a fan-finished DLC which fixes your game, I don't understand it. I just don't have the energy for it. Like, I love KOTOR. I love KOTOR 2. It's like a deconstruction of everything Star Wars, and it's so unique in that way, whereas KOTOR 1 is more like a classic Star Wars space opera in a completely different time period while still maintaining what it feels like to be Star Wars. It's just such a unique thing, such a cool story sitting right there waiting, and these people can't even figure it out. But that's all I got for today. I don't know. See you soon. May the Force be with you. Refund the game. Come on.